Shall I start? See, good afternoon, Ananda. See, today we are going to see the modeling and simulation of MPPT techniques for a PV systems. So, before going for modeling, we will see what is the importance of the MPPT techniques towards a grid connected or standalone PV systems. Okay. So, in this session, I am going to discuss literacy survey, some motivation factors. Then after that, performance evaluation of MPPT techniques with a boost converter. I will convert. See, we are going to see uh, the introduction to MPPT techniques, and then after that, the performance evaluation of MPPT techniques with a boost converter. We will see. Then in that, along with the boost converter, we will see P&O MPPT technique, incremental conductance, the fuzzy logic controller. We are going to see. Then we will discuss on the results and modeling of simulation. We will see. Okay. So the mainly, so we have selected PV module. Yesterday, what we have taken Pezora 20 GT, and first we are going to see the modeling of DC-DC boost converter. Already we have seen uh, on the second day. Then we are going to implement the conventional P&O and incremental conductance. Then we are going to implement fuzzy logic controller, and we are going to assess the performance of standalone PV systems with boost converter by considering all three techniques. Now, as I said yesterday, so now due to awareness of the global warming and increasing prices of uh, the fossil fuels, so solar PV systems, grid connected PV systems have attracted more. And one more thing, if you see here, the amount of power generated from the PV system is mainly depends upon the factors such as temperature and solar irradiance. Now, in order to continuously harvest the maximum power from the PV panels, we need to operate them in the MPP, maximum power point. Okay, so what happened if you consider the uniform irradiance condition, it will operate at the maximum power point, whereas we are considering sometimes partial shading conditions will occur. So yesterday we have seen due to it may be trees, due to poles, maybe due to buildings, there is a possibility there are local MPPs will may come. So what we need to do? So we need to operate, okay, to get the to harvest the maximum power or to enhance the maximum power from the solar panels. So we need to operate MPP at the global point. So to achieve that, so we need to employ MPPT techniques for tracking the maximum power. Okay, so there are, if you want, you can see a review paper if you want. There is a comparative study on MPP techniques for PV systems. This is IEEE transaction. Overall comparison MPP techniques are classified in that paper. There is another paper, MPP based artificial intelligence techniques. This paper it is available. There are several papers are there. Okay, if you want, you can go through it. Okay, then coming to the main motivation. If you see, there is a PV array we are having. There is a PV array we are having, and that side a grid connected system is there. In the middle, what is there when we consider in array? So suppose there is a PV system we are having. So a small amount of power is generated in the PV. Small amount of power will be generated. Suppose if I want to connect it to the grid connected PV system, we need to have a DC-DC a converter. Okay, and then after that there is inverter is required. Then after the inverter, then we are connecting to the grid. Okay, we are having PV panels. It may be series connected, series parallel connected, bridge link, TCT honeycomb, different configurations we are having. Okay, so then in the first day we have studied DC-DC converters. Yesterday we have studied PV, and even second day we have studied about inverters. Now what I will do? Small amount of power will be enhanced, stepped up the voltage. DC-DC boost converter bidirectional will step up the voltage, and then which will be inverted, which will be connected to the grid. So DC to here AC conversion is happened. Here DC to DC conversion. Okay, then okay, and here. So where my MPPT plays a vital role. So in the DC-DC converter, in the boost converter, there are here if you observe, this is a PV array. This is my PV array. This is a grid and this is an inverter. So this part is my DC-DC converter. So if you observe the DC-DC converter earlier, So what was there? There is a switch is there. In the switch, we need to provide earlier with the help of the pulse generator. We have generated the pulses, isn't it? In the boost converter, with the help of pulse generator, we have given the pulses. Whereas here, so with the help of PWM scheme and PID controller and MPPT techniques, okay, these pulses will be provided based on with the help of MPPT techniques. So why I am using here MPPT technique is, if I consider uniform irradiance, so normal pulse generator can be considered, but whereas here pulse generator, I have shown second, if you remember. So in the boost converter, if you see the source voltage, inductor, and this switch, we are having capacitor and load. So here what we did, so we have designed so how much amount of the pulses are required. So here what we have taken, so based on the output voltages, based on the duty ratios, we have selected here pulses were given. The pulses values are fixed values we have given here. But whereas third day we have learned about third day we have learned about it may be uniform irradiance conditions or non-uniform conditions will be there. It may be like this. These many conditions may occur. That means there are partial shading conditions may occur. Partial shading conditions occurring means what happened? These local peaks are coming. It may not be uniform. If it is a uniform condition, pulse generator normal one, it can be considered. Whereas in this situation, if I consider the partial shading conditions on the PV panel, if I consider partial shading conditions on the PV panel, so there are the peaks may come. So the boost converter, the pulse generator, I need to provide the pulses according to my shading condition. So to track those pulses properly, I need to consider MPPT technique. Try to understand normal uniform condition. Normal PV will be there, DC-DC converter will be there, inverter and grid can be connected. Normal PWM signals are enough. Whereas, if there is a partial shading condition, if I want to give the system to be adaptive in nature, if there is any dynamic changes, it may be row side shading condition or column side, center may be shading condition, maybe random shading conditions, diagonal shading condition. So, if the shading condition is changing time to time, if the shading on the PV array is dynamic, even then my MPPT technique will track properly and is able to make the DC-DC converter in line with the shading conditions. Okay, so the importance of MPPT technique is that, so to operate, in order to continuously harvest maximum power from the solar PV panels, they have to operate their MPP techniques maximum power point despite of inevitable changes in the environment. Okay, we need to operate the signals at maximum power point. So for that one, we are considering is MPPT techniques. Okay, now, so in this we are going to see the molding and these things. Now, you see, one is IV curve, then another is the linearly fitted at this point MPP we are getting. So what is the necessity? Low conversion efficiency will be there to maximize the output power, to maximize the efficiency of the overall system, and to work with the variations in the irradiance may happen, variations in the temperature may happen, so it keep the maximum power point properly tracking. Okay, so how many methods are there? So we are having different type of MPPT techniques are there. Okay, so these MPPT techniques, there are different type of MPPT techniques which can be used for solar PV system. They are constant voltage classic. It is divided into classic conventional MPPT techniques, intelligent MPPT techniques, optimization based and hybrid based. Okay, so there are conventional, there is a neural network fuzzy logic based is intelligent, there are optimization meta heuristic methods are there. Combination of any of these 3. Okay, so out of 3, any combination of any two will be hybrid. Now classical, what we are having, the classic configuration, there is a constant voltage method is there. Okay, short circuit current, adaptive reference voltage, open circuit voltage, but commonly used is P and O, hill climbing, incremental conductance. These things will be commonly used. Okay, so now we are going to see the P and O and incremental conductance. Then in coming to the intelligent methods, these are works on the soft computing techniques. This is a part of soft computing, you may call it as fuzzy logic controller based MPPT technique, artificial neural network based MPPT technique, sliding mode control, Gauss-Newton Fibonacci series. These are all comes under intelligent techniques. There is optimization techniques are there, Cuckoo's HR algorithm, particle swarm optimization, Gray Wolf optimization, and bee colony, artificial bee colony. There are different optimization techniques are there. Now, when we consider individually, there is a performance issues may happen. So what they have done now, people are working on mostly intelligent and optimization techniques. So few members already started working on hybrid, the fuzzy PSO. Okay, adaptive neurofuzzy, fuzzy and neural network combined. Gray Wolf algorithm and P and O. That means optimization and conventional combination. PSO and P and O. So there are different combinations people are working to make the system to track maximum powers. Okay, so there are certain advantages are there and certain disadvantages are there for each and every topology. Okay, so P and O, it is easy to implement. It is very simple algorithm. But there is it traps at the local maximum, very slow convergence rate it will be. Whereas incremental conductance, the better convergence rate is the less ripples will be there. Okay, and here if you take, you want to go for more simulations, that's why a little bit fast and good. So if you consider MPPT model, there is a PV module. From the PV module, voltage we are measuring, currents we are measuring. So as I have shown you here, after that there is, after PV module there is DC-DC converter. Okay, so take keep when the shading condition is there. So for self-adjusting, we are using MPPT control algorithm. For maximization of the power extracted from the PV source, okay, the interface of power converter must be capable of self-adjusting its own parameters at a runtime. Okay, so further we are considering MPPT. Now these are the parameters we have taken. These are the parameters of which one? PV panel. So this PV panel parameters, these are. Okay, so maximum power is 200 watt, voltage is 26 volts, current is 7.6, open circuit voltage, short circuit current, temperature coefficient, series resistance, shunt resistance, everything is predefined values of Kaisora element we are considering. Okay, now the boost converter also we need, because when we consider MPP technique, we will apply it, the boost converter. So now we have considered boost converter parameters. So input is PMP is 420 volts, because you see, you observe here, output of PV is connected as input to the DC-DC converter. Okay, output of PV is connected as input of DC-DC converter. Okay, so input voltage is 420 volts, current is 7.61, output voltage is 1200 volts, so switching frequency 10 kHz. So these parameters we have taken. Okay, so now we will try to design. I'll try to show you. So how we have taken PV model. Then after that I will show you what we have taken for boost converter. Then I will move to the PNO or incremental conductance. Let me show you till then. See here in the PNO what you are doing. So we'll read the PV voltage, current and temperature values. The power is multiplication of V and I. Then there is a change in the power is the present power minus previous power. Okay, if the change is equal to 0, that means the previous power and present power both are at same level. What it means? The previous power, okay, and present power both are same in the sense the change in power is 0. Change in power is 0 means we are at the maximum power point. Try to understand, if the change in power is 0 means we are at the maximum power point. So At that point, if it is true, we will consider this as a maximum power point is found. Try to understand. We have read the PV voltages, currents, temperatures. We have considered power calculated V into I. So delta P is nothing but delta P is the present power P of t minus the previous power. Okay, that is delta of P minus 1. If these two are equal, then del P you are getting 0. That means that delta P is equal to 0. Then if it is true, then you are stating that maximum power point you have achieved. If it is false, okay, then we will see delta V is greater than 0 or not. Sorry, delta P is greater than 0 or less than 0. We will see. If delta P is not equal to 0, delta P is not equal to 0. If it is greater than 0, then we will see voltage values. V is greater than 0 or previous value or not. Accordingly, either one step increase will be there, one step reduce will be there. In the same way, we will go back. I'll show you. Let me show you this. Now you see, there is what I have considered the Kyocera Solar KC 200 GT. Maximum power is 200.143. This is what I have considered. And the voltage at VMP is 26.3. The current is 7.61. The same values which I have considered is here 26.3, 7.61. Okay. Now the PV panels are selected. Now 1000 watt per meter square, 25. Now output of the PV power something. It is connected to input of the boost converter. This is my boost converter inductor. Then there is a switch. Then there is a diode and capacitor. And so this boost converter here, what I have done, these signals, if you see, if you observe clearly, to these gate signals. These gate signals are given from here. You see, PWM generator. This is a PWM generator. From there, it is connected to P&O. So here what we have done. So we have written in the P&O. We have initialized. If you observe here, we have initialized. So how much amount of frequency we have taken? Switching frequency 10 kHz. You see this? Switching frequency is 10 kHz is taken. Okay. Switching frequency 10 kHz and P&O. Then initialization of duty cycle. Initially 0.72. Duty cycle maximum value is 0.8. Minimum value is 0.1. And delta P is, suppose any change is there. Suppose here. 1 minute. If I want to increase one step up or one step down, if I want to increase 1 minute. So you see, in this algorithm, initially I have considered P and O, P, I, and P we have calculated. Okay. So voltage I have taken, current I have taken, previous value of voltage, previous value of current, and present value of power, previous value of powers I have taken. And delta V I have calculated. Delta V is change in voltage. What is the present voltage? What is the minus previous voltage? Delta P. What is the present power? What is the previous power? If del P is equal to 0, then you consider it as maximum power point. That means you achieved the maximum power point. So there is a possibility del P is greater than 0. This side you are. Yes. We will see del V is greater than 0 or not. If yes, then increase the V reference. Otherwise decrease the V reference. Okay, so otherwise del P is less than 0 other side, so either increase or decrease. That means one side this side operating, another side this side it is operating. So we have considered So we have considered initially, so how much amount of duty ratio we need to consider, what is the maximum, what is the minimum, and if any change comes, so how much amount it should jump. So it is 0.005 percentage it has to jump. Okay, then we have considered model P is equal to V into I. Change in voltage is V minus V volt. Change in power is P minus P volt. So same thing here I have taken. Change in voltage is P minus V volt. Change in power is P minus P volt. Okay. If D is less than 0, then D volt plus delta D. Otherwise, D volt minus delta D. That's what we are doing. Okay. Either increase V reference value or decrease V reference value by adding delta D. Okay. So these conditions we have taken. Now we will see. So what we have done, first PV panel is considered. Then as per the yesterday, you understood how to consider the PV panels. Then in the second class, you learned about DC-DC converters. Here you understood about DC-DC converters. Now today, MPPT we are putting there so that it can track properly. So we will see how it will track. So the output of PV is connected as input to the DC-DC converter. Whereas any partial shading condition is considered or any changes, dynamic changes comes, which will be taken care by your MPPT technique. Okay, and here. See, this is VPV, output voltage, IPV. Okay, so from here I have taken, you see, after VPV, this is a current is connected. This current block is from here it is taken, whereas voltage block. So this voltage block is, sorry, this voltage block is displayed here. Okay, now you see, so how much amount of output voltage as per this? See, V maximum power 26.3, the maximum current is 7.61 has to come, isn't it? So what we have considered by simulation also, approximately 25.78, and approximately 7.7 it got current. So here how much we got? 7.6, and the power is 200 watt we have taken. So power how much we are getting by multiplying voltage and current multiplication. This is the multiplication, the product element. Okay, so there is a product element. If you click here, it will come product. This block yesterday we have not used. If you want to multiply voltage and current, directly product block can be taken. Okay, so to the product block, one is current is connected, another input voltage is connected. So V into I, you got P. Is it clear? Suppose if I connect here, one block is connected to voltage source. So one more is connected to current. Okay. So if you connect one display block, then you will get a power. Okay. So we got 26 or 25.7 volts VPV output, 7.7 IPV output, and 200 watts the power. This is PV output, which is input to here. Now we will see. So this is for stability. Here it is stabilizing at 0.04 seconds. It is settling at 0.04 seconds. And this is 200 watt you are getting. This is the power. So now you see here, one is PWM scheme signals, one is of VPV, second one is IPV, then PPV. Okay, so here one is of your pulse width signals, how much you are giving. Okay, and our concentration is by keep on going for P and O to incremental conductance to fuzzy logic controller, what will happen? So this settling time will be reduced. Settling time will be reduced. One is of PWM scheme signals. Second one is of voltage. The voltage is how much? So voltage is approximately 26, and the current is 7.6, and the power is 200. Okay, so what it is, these are PV output values. Now we had given to input. Now how much amount of current is there in the boost converter? Okay. So these are boost converter output values. Previous one is output of PV panel or input to the boost converter. These are after giving the, so now, a minute. Now this is PV panel, DC-DC converter, and here MPP. So here 26 volts I am getting, 7.6 amperes I am getting. These two are input values. Now how much output of DC output voltage, how much amount of DC uh, output current we will get, we need to consider. So that one we will see. You see this. So first one is, again we have taken one current source. Okay, is connected here, and second one is, this is the voltage source. This is a voltage source component. This is our current source. Now this voltage source and this current source both are product. So down one, third one is the power. This is of current. First one is of voltage. So first one is of voltage. How much is coming? So voltage is approximately 100 volts we are getting, whereas current is 2 amperes. Okay, 100 into 2. So 200 watts power you are receiving. So now so when we consider uniform irradiance, this is for uniform irradiance condition. The uniform irradiance condition, the first one is when there is a duty ratio is, we have considered this way. This is my duty ratio. This is duty ratio, and this is PV voltage. Okay, the PV output voltage, this is of 26 volts approximately. This is of PV current 7.6 amperes. Then combining these two, we got PV output power is 200 watts. This is uniform condition. Now these are output of PV input to the boost converter. Now, boost converter outputs are 100 volts, 2 amperes, and 200 watts. The same thing we will see with partial shading conditions. This is under uniform conditions we have seen. Okay, when there is a partial shading condition is there, will my system work or not effectively? Because MPPT is meant for shading conditions. Now we will see. Okay, first let me, otherwise, first let me complete the incremental conductance of uniform also. Then we will go to partial shading conditions. when it comes to the incremental conductance, we'll find out the conductance value. So accordingly, we will change. So what we will do earlier in the P and O powers we have calculated. As per the power is 0, so that means it is a maximum value. If power is less than 0 or greater than 0, based on voltage, either we are increasing V reference or we are reducing the V reference. This is called P and O method. Perturb and observe. Okay, so whereas in incremental conductance, first we will find out what is VPV, IPV, what is the duty ratios, we will find out. Then change in current, change in voltage, we will see. Then what we will do, if change in voltage is 0 and change in current is 0, that means DI is equal to 0, DV is equal to 0. Okay, then Vk is equal to Vk minus 1. That means it is at maximum power point. But if dV is equal to 0, then di is not equal to 0. Then what we will do? Either increasing the step. So here what we have considered, di by dV ratios will be considered. That is nothing but the conductance values. The conductance values will be considered. If conductance value is equal to minus I by V, change in voltage and change in current values are minus I by V, yes, and update the value. If it is no, then you see either decrease or increase in the step values. So these are also same concept. So based on incremental conductance, based on voltage, change in voltage and change in current, based on the di by dv values, if it is greater than 0 or less than 0, so based on that conductance values, either increase, okay, this will happen. Now so in the incremental conductance also, same uniform irradiance condition we have taken first. In the uniform irradiance condition, this is 1000 watts, it's constant, and 25 degrees centigrade, and same 200 GT, 26.3, 7.61. So same parameters. I'm testing that. So my P and O incremental conductance was Z. Which one is the giving the best performance? I want to see. So under that condition, this is a boost converter. The output of PV is connected to the boost converter. Okay, same amount of L I have considered, same amount of C's I have considered, same amount of load I have considered. Now only change is in this incremental conductance. Here what we are doing, same 10 kHz. Instead of P and O, incremental INC VI. Here initialization is 0.5 we have taken, D maximum 0.8, 0.1, and delta change is also 0.005. Here what we will do, here we will consider dV is equal to V minus volt, present value minus previous value. dP is equal to present value minus P volt. Current DI, change in current is I minus I volt. So we will see dV equal to 0, DI is equal to 0, then it is okay. If not, either we add or delete delta T. So in this condition we are seeing dV DI. In the previous condition we have seen dP dV. That's it. Okay. So by seeing the incremental conductance, let's see. A simple thing, one PB module, DC-DC converter, boost converter, what you have considered, just one based on this particular P&O algorithm. See here, you see clearly I have shown. Okay, read the values, DI calculation, DV calculation. This is minus. When DV equal to 0, DI is equal to 0. Okay, then just update the values. Delta I by delta V is greater than minus I by minus B. This will be in this region. It is less than is in this region, and is equal is maximum. We will try to track it to maximum. It's completed. So now you see. Now can you observe 7.7, 199.4, 25.77. Okay, it's there fractional changes. So earlier it was 0.04, it was settled. You see this, the settling time, it went little bit high. Now the output parameters of boost converters are so 100 approximately instead of 100. Earlier it was in the P&O it was 100 under 2, but here it is 99. It is 1.9 and total power received is 195. Earlier it was approximately equal to how much it was 200. Okay. So before going to fuzzy, we will move to non-uniform conditions, how it is working. Then we will come back to fuzzy. Variable irradiance condition we will see. What I have done earlier, we have taken the P&O, the irradiance was 1000 watt per meter square we have taken. Now what I have done, so yesterday this is extension of yesterday before yesterday. So what I did in the irradiance, this is what I have considered. Okay, so what I have considered is up to point 2, even up to this is 0.3 or 0.34. Okay, up to 0.3 400 I have taken, 0.3 to 0.4 taken linear change, at 0.3 400, 0.4 600, then 0.4 to 0.6 600, then it jumped to 1000. So I have taken, that means 0 second to 1.5 second, it is changing dynamically. The waveform is, it is partial shading condition, it is changing dynamically. When we consider earlier uniform condition, it was constant. Now the remaining thing will be same. So my P&O will be same. What we consider 10 kHz initialization, D max, D minimum, delta value. Okay. Then what is the V volt value? P volt, D volt is D initialization. Okay. P calculation is V into I. dV is V minus V volt. dP is P minus P volt. Then if P is less than 0, dV is less than 0, how the calculation? Same algorithm. Only changes in the input irradiance. Okay. So how it will work, we will see. So the main motto behind the P&O or incremental conductance or fuzzy MPPT techniques is, when there is a shading, when there is a dynamic change, the system has to track properly. During uniform condition, it will track anyway nicely. So now during partial shading conditions, how is it is tracking is a matters. It's taking 2 minutes time. So again, inside also I've taken same Kesura KC 200 GT 26.3 7.61. So same P&O what I have considered PV array, same PV array considered for incremental conductor. When you want to compare any of the two methods, when you want to compare any of the two methods, so all the parameters, system parameters same has to be considered except the controlling element which you are controlling. So that parameters has to be varied. Like here, I'm concentrating on MPPT technique. So one time P&O I have used, one time incremental conductance I have used. In this method, the input parameters are changed. That means dynamic changes in the irradiance level I have changed. Okay. Even temperature also can change, but irradiance I have changed. And here if you observe once again, this is PV with a partial shading condition. Output is connected as input to this signal, the MOSFET. The input connected is, you see, the gate signal which is connected is, this is P&O. Okay. This is pulse width modulation. Switching frequency 10 kilohertz. Okay. And here the PWM signals are generated based on PNO. Okay. So, so for PNO, VPV, IPV is taken. So now we will see so how it is tracking. So try to see when you observe the duty cycle earlier it was constant you have taken 0.7 to something, but now up to 0.3 seconds something, zero point 0.3 it is 200 something, then zero point 0.3 to zero point 0.4 something, then you see accordingly how it is varying. To try to observe. So one is connected to the pulse width, PWM signals, one is connected to voltage, one is to current, one is to power. Now you see. The voltage you can't observe much changes, but whereas current you see exactly how the condition you are having here. Exactly it is taking. Third one, third waveform if you observe. If you observe the third waveform, how the current is taking a step. So like that, it is also moving. So the power will be multiplication of both voltage and current. The power also is tracking properly. So first curve related to, as I said, first curve related to PWM signals what you are giving. Second curve related to voltage. Third curve is related to the current of PV, and fourth one is related to the PV output of power. So these are output values of PV. Okay. Now at the same time, how the output values of the system that DC-DC converter is coming to see. See, up to 0.3 period, then 0.3 to 0.4, how it is improved, then 0.5 to 0.6. So one is of, the first one is of voltage, second one is of current, third one is of power. So we can ensure that by considering PV mod, MPPT techniques, it is tracking properly the voltage and currents. It is able to maintain the MPPT technique at maximum power point. Okay. The voltages, currents, and powers all are tracking properly. If you observe here, see either output voltages, output current, output power. This is the output of PV, input of boost converter. So let me show you this. When you consider uniform irradiance condition, single thing, V, I, power, how it is. So 100 volts, 2 amperes, 200 watts. This is the output voltage, output current, output power during uniform condition. In the same way, duty ratios constantly are taken. PV power, PV current, PV voltage. Now what I did, we have changed uniform irradiance to non-uniform condition. Okay. Now you see, now it is variable condition, P and O with variable condition. So 0 to how it is. So now is this is of duty ratio. Exactly duty ratio changed with the help of P and O. Then PV voltage. This is PV power. PV voltage is almost constant you are getting if you observe here. Second waveform. This is the PV current under variable conditions. Then this is output voltage. Output voltage is approximately at 60 started, 80, 100 it is touching. Fine. Right. I hope you understand. Okay. So we can ensure that it is tracking properly. So now I will open incremental conductance with partial shading condition. So uniform we have seen, and the partial shading condition of which one? P and O we have seen. Now same way, here what we have considered is the PV panel of a PV array, SIM 200 GT, and irradiance we have considered. So irradiance of also almost same I have considered irradiance. Okay, to 1.5, and here it is. Okay, this is 100,000 is completed. So during non-uniform conditions, you see partial shading conditions. And partial shading is there, approximately 25.8 volts we got. The current is 6.2 and the voltage is 160 volts. VPV is 25, IPV is 6.2, PPV is 160. Okay, this is what input. Then output we'll see. So this is what it is tracking exactly. So now you will see how the incremental conductance during harsh shading condition it will come. We'll see. Then I will go to fuzzy. So here also I have already simulated in the incremental conductance method also under variable irradiance. Same uh, insulation I have taken, and based on the insulation level considered, duty ratios are generated. So these duty ratios are how it is generated. So this is incremental conductance during uniform condition. Properly it is given. There is no step changes because your signal is uniform in nature. So your powers, currents, PV currents, voltages are in uniform in nature, proper. But whereas incremental conductance based variable irradiance if I consider. So here radiance is changed. Accordingly, our duty ratios are changed. So for this particular duty ratios, the voltage is normal, but the current is changed. So because PV current changed, so PV power also will be changed. Is a multiplication of V and I. In the same way, the output voltages and output currents of DC-DC converter. So output voltage of DC-DC converter is this one, and output current, and this is output power. Okay. It's taking too much time. We started reaching. So now you see, first one is the pulse generator PWM signals, whereas the second one is approximately 26 volts. That is a voltage V PV output voltage PV voltage, and this is 6 point something. That is a current, and there is a power. The approximately it is tracking same way. See, if you observe. So we can ensure that our method is working properly. In the incremental conductance method also, same we have followed. Only one thing, initially 0.5 we have taken. There it was 0.72 in the P and O. Here in the incremental conductance 0.5. Maximum minimum values are same initialized 0.8, 0.1 and delta is 0.005 only. And this rule is same. dV equal to V minus volt, Tp is equal to P minus V volt. Change in current is I minus I volt. Here the change will come. In the P and O, dP equal to 0 and dV is equal to 0, how it is, or dV greater than 0, how it is. But whereas in the incremental conductance, voltage and currents we will check, and dI by dV ratios we will see. You see here, this is dI by dV is equal to minus I by V. Then how the D will change? Or if it is dI by dV is less than, else, then how it will be. That's it. Here incremental conductance, there this Peterburn observe, the powers will be considered. That's it. So we can ensure that, see, by seeing this, we can ensure that incremental conductance also tracking. Okay, I think it's more or less it is tracking. So shall I go to fuzzy? How it will be explained? So to design the fuzzy logic, okay. So to implement fuzzy logic controller, is it okay? The results will ensure that almost same you will get. Before giving fuzzy logic, no, I need to explain it. Their incremental conductance, variable irradiance levels, then fuzzy we will see how it will track. I'm stopping it. See, when you want to design, see here clearly it is given. Okay. There is see PV array, okay, 1000 watt per meter square, 25 degrees, same we have considered. And now this is a DC-DC converter. Here what I have done, VPV, IPV I have taken, which are given as input to the FLC controller. In the FLC, I am generating the PWM signals. That PWM is connected to the gate. To clearly understand, PV output is connected to boost converter. To the boost converter, whereas the MOSFET with the gate pulses are generated from the MPPT, as I told. So VPV IPV is given as input to the FLC, and output of FLC is connected to PWM signals will be generated, which are given to the gate pulse of MOSFET. Okay, so here we will observe how much amount of the PV output voltages are there, how much amount of DC output voltages are there, DC converter output voltages we are going to see. Now, here in the FLC block, so when I want to design anything, what I need to consider is to type fuzzy. This is fuzzy block, fuzzy rule viewer. To type fuzzy, there is a fuzzy logic controller with rule viewer will be there. This fuzzy logic controller can be taken. Okay. In the library block, type fuzzy. This block is there. Now here, if you open, so library look under mask will be there. So here we need to give our FIS block need to be designed. So for that one, what is required is, so what we are taking error and change in error. What type of error we are taking? Try to understand. First I have to track and show you the diagram. You observe here. See, from the PV, VPV I have taken. From the PV, IPV I have taken. So from here, dV I calculated. dV is VPV minus a previous value of V. And then after that, there is I have calculated the PB values, then DP values. DP is nothing but dV minus DI. Okay. So then we have generated the error. Okay. With the help of a Z, we have error we have calculated dV and V ratio. Then change in error is with a delay we have taken. So error and change in error we have taken, it is connected to fuzzy logic controller and it is given to the PWM generator. Okay. So for generating the error is nothing but the present value of power minus the present previous value of power with respect to voltages we have taken. Now, let me show you. Suppose if I want to implement fuzzy logic controller, to type fuzzy in the block. Okay. So then import file from the fuzzy. Then there is MPPT controller will be there. Already I have designed it. See, okay, suppose I'll do one thing if it is okay. If I type fuzzy, fs block will be opened. So here in the input, add variable to the input. Two inputs are there. One is what? So one input is error, and second input is change in error, change in error, and this is output. Okay. So we have designed now error. So how many, whatever membership function we need to consider, we need to select it. Okay. So now here what I have done, I have already done that. I will open it. So to open that file, import from the file, already I have created MPPT. I will open it. If you want, I will explain you how to design a fuzzy logic controller later. First, let me simulate it. So with the existing fuzzy, then clearly if time permits today or tomorrow, I will explain you what is fuzzy, why we need to consider, how it is. So everything I will explain. So after importing, we need to export it to the workspace with the MPPT name. Here, the MPPT name is there, no? So what I need to do, whatever the name I am exporting there, here with the same name I need to give MPPT. What I am doing, so first I am typing fuzzy here. Then one fuzzy inference system block will be there. Then from the file, I have imported already saved file. Then after importing, then I'm exporting that file to the workspace. So whatever the name is there on this file when you are exporting to the workspace. So what name I have given, MPPT name I had given. The same name has to be called back here. Okay. So now here what functions I have taken. Voltage is 0, negative small, negative medium, negative big, positive small, positive medium, positive big. So these voltages are -6 to 6 and powers are -6 to 6 I have taken. The output duty ratios. So -0.1 to 0.1, 0 to 1 I have taken. Okay. So these values design. Now this is the rule. The voltage is negative big and the power is negative big. How the output operation? Voltage is negative medium. Power is negative big or negative medium, negative small, anything you consider. How the output. So there are, I'm having 7 fuzzy rules are there in the VN, 7 fuzzy rules are there in the PN value. So there are 49 rules will count. So that 49 rules are designed here. How to design I will tell you later. I'll explain you one by one. So now, so what will happen? You can run the model. Without exporting, if you run, it will not work. Okay, without calling that function, if you run, so it will not run. Now it is running, you see. I have called this function. And here you observe, there is defalsification I have considered centroid method, aggregation is a maximum, implication is a minimum, operators I have considered. So by considering fuzzy, how the results have come, I will show you. So by considering fuzzy logic controller, we see here. So only I have taken PV voltage 26 volts, PV current 7 amperes, PV power. Now here one thing did you observe, when you consider the incremental conductance, when it has come, the settling has done at 0.04. When I consider even P and O, the settling was at 0.04 seconds. When I consider fuzzy logic controller, settling where it is happened, you understand? At 0.001. So the fuzzy logic controllers are more adaptive. It will give the best results. I'm going to explain you from the basics, but I'm showing the results. So why the fuzzy it play a vital role in optimizing the results. Okay. And if you take output current, output voltage, previously you see output voltage, output currents, there is a small notches are there here, and even it is not settled properly. It took some time to settle. Whereas fuzzy logic controller, you see this smooth way, and it is settled before only. This is under uniform conditions. Even same thing if I consider non-uniform conditions, which is taking too much time. Even if I will show you just even if I consider fuzzy logic with non-uniform conditions. Okay, same remaining thing will be same. The result I will show you. This is what. Now you see the fuzzy logic controller MPPT under variable irradiance. So what happened insulation? The PV power you see PV voltage and PV current. Sharp it is tracking exactly. Okay, in the previously there are some small changes are there. Okay, here and there. You see here also P and O also. It is not that much smooth. Whereas if you consider fuzzy, and observe output voltage, output current also. You observe. So it is taking too much time for running. It will take some time. Okay. So now what we can ensure that compared to P and O incremental conductance, see, but one thing is by considering MPPT techniques, yes, during partial shading conditions, P and O incremental conductance also working, but further if you go for intelligent and optimized techniques, definitely you will get the optimized answers, okay. So now you'll see the comparisons how it is. Under constant insulation, if you see all three methods, one is with P and O, blue color is with incremental conductance, red is with FLC. You see, the fuzzy logic is here only, it went. Whereas incremental conductance and P and O. So, steady state point we are reaching very fast. Okay, and one more thing. You see here, if you observe the red line, fuzzy logic controller, red line you see, So it is reaching the steady state point very fast. And one more thing, if you see the P&O and incremental conductance, these notches are there, or these dampings are there. There is a dampings are there. Whereas the fuzzy logic controllers, the overshoots or undershoots are eliminated, and the dampings are eliminated. And one more thing, if we observe here, so this is at this point. If you observe after certain period, even you see the fuzzy is red color is constant, whereas incremental conductance P and O is still fluctuating. Same thing with under variable insulation. This is under constant insulation. Under variable insulation also, FLC is in red color, P and O incremental conductance. If you see decline. So if you observe here at this point also, if you observe, or at this point you observe, at this point if you observe, the red is smooth in nature. Okay, so steady state it is reaching very fast. Steady state it is reaching very fast, and even during after reaching steady state and the oscillations, if you see the dampings, you see here when it comes states changes. This is from one state to one state. So from here to here changing, from here to here, from here to here. When it moves from this particular state to other state, you see fuzzy is quickly it is tracking. Here also fuzzy quickly it is tracking. But whereas the P&O incremental conductance, it needs some time after every dynamic change. So here dynamic changes happen, tracking is proper with fuzzy. Even here dynamic change happened here at 1, maybe at 1.4. So all the dynamic changes under variable insulation conditions also, fuzzy is giving the better performance. That's what I can say. So now what we have done, under constant insulation, P&O I have considered 1000 watt per meter square. Output power is 1900.50 I got. Sorry, 199.50 I got. The maximum power is of the panel is 200.143. Tracking speed is 50 milliseconds and the tracking efficiency 99.67. With the incremental conductance, same 1000 watt per meter square, that uniform irradiance condition, we have got 199.86. We have observed, I think, and maximum power is 200.143. And tracking speed is 50, and this is uniform condition I'm talking about. Okay, constant insulation. Okay, so I'm talking about tracking speed and efficiency. And efficiency is 90.85, whereas FLC, if I consider output power, you will get 200.132. It is 199, it is 200.132, approximately equal to 200.14. And tracking speed is 5 milliseconds, whereas previously it was 50 millisecond, but here it is 5 millisecond, and efficiency 99.99. So with the help of FLC, we can not only achieving the tracking efficiency 99.99, we have also seen that tracking speed is very fast. Okay, that means settling time is very faster during constant insolation. During constant insolation. Now, when you move to partial shading condition, you see P&O 0.04, 400 watt per meter square I have taken. Okay, this one I am talking, 400 watt per meter square. At that point, power was 81. You see, you observe here. P&O, no? From here to here, the power was 80. From here to here, changing. From 0.4 to here, see, what result you got is not a matter. How much your analysis you are giving is a matter. That's why. So tomorrow while writing paper, so the results analysis properly you should write. So now from here to here, 0.5 to 0.8. So how the output power? So you see here the data I am giving you. Then there is a step change 0 to 0.4, 400 watt per meter square, and I observed 80 watt I got, and maximum power was 81. And tracking speed was 80, 99 I have achieved. In between 0.5 to 0.9, 600 watt per meter square I observe, 121, 121.8 is the highest, and 20 tracking speed, 99. So maximum I achieved is 1.4 to 2, 800 watt per meter square, 160 I have achieved, 161 the so if you observe anything, You compare first one with the FLC 0.04. These terms conditions same. We got 80.153, 81.153. So here 81.14, 114, 99.98. Even partial shading condition 0.52.9, 600 watt per meter square, 121.78. Here 121.61, 121.7. Okay, 3, 99.8. So in all the conditions, even if I consider uniform shading condition or non-uniform shading conditions, tracking speed is better compared to these two, and tracking efficiency is far better. So that what we can say is by considering either intelligent methods or next optimization techniques and PPTs, we can track the speed properly and the efficiency can be maintained 99%, 99.9 percentage. Okay, and settling time we can see, stability we can see. Okay. So further it can be improved with the help of optimization techniques. We'll see how the result it has come or not. It's still 6% drop. Okay, so now let me show you. So today what we are seeing. So let me explain you quickly. So today what we are seeing. So we have seen why to select, because to maintain the maximum power, even though partial shading conditions are coming, if suppose PV panel, no, it can be standalone or grid connector. I need to consider when grid connector is required. So small amount of PV power you are generating, which is not sufficient to drive or not sufficient to deliver. So DC-DC converters are required. So whereas when we consider DC-DC converters, their pulse signals are generated. So to the pulses, I need to provide the particular values, which one PWM signals has to be given. So to give the PWM signals, here we are using MPPT techniques. So using uniform irradiance conditions or non-uniform irradiance conditions. That means during partial shading conditions or constant irradiance conditions, the maximum power point is giving the better tracking capability. Okay. So these are the literature surveys we have seen. Now, this is what I have explained you. So PV panel, DC-DC converter, PWM scheme sir with MPPT, and inverter is connected, grid is connected. So track MPPT into at this point. So we have different methods are there, classical, intelligent, optimization, hybrid methods are there. So this is what how we are tracking. Before that one, we have considered this model from the PV, 26.3 volts and 7.61 amperes of VMP IMPs. Then boost converter parameters of this one we have considered. Okay. So 10 kilohertz, 7.6 amperes, so 200 watts. Now in the P and O, we have considered P and V. Then power is calculated. Change in power is calculated. If change in power is 0, that means you have reached the maximum power point. If change in power is greater than 0 and voltage is greater than the previous value, either increase or decrease. In the same way, change in power is less than 0, so either increase or decrease operation we have seen. Then we have seen P and O, this is uniform irradiance condition, PV voltage, PV current, PV power, and output voltage of DC-DC converter, and output current, output power, how much we generated. In the same way, incremental conductance also we have seen. Okay, so here the problems are both the problems. The settling is taking some time, some stability issues. Here also there are some notches are there. Okay, so and here also it took some time to set it, incremental conductance also. So we went to fuzzy logic controller. In the fuzzy logic controller, the settling is very fast. Quickly it is coming to normal. So it is at 0.01, before 0.001 itself it is coming. Okay, and here there is no notches at all. Even if you go for the partial shading conditions, PNO is tracking or incremental conductance is also tracking. But we observed a little bit of the from one step change to another dynamic step change. There are small the issues were there. So here voltage, even here the power, maybe current when it is changing. Okay, so tracking speed and tracking efficiency is a little bit there is a problem with incremental conductance and P and O. So these notches are there. Whereas if I go for the fuzzy logic controller, so it is exactly it is tracking. So this is under constant insulation, under variable insulation. Okay. So if you observe here, the fuzzy logic is giving the quickly it is coming to stable position or steady state position it is coming. And whereas P and O and incremental conductance, it is struggling to come to steady state. It is taking some time, up to maybe 0.0038. Okay, so here you observe here clearly observe 0.036 I think. Okay, and even middle also if you consider there is some notches are there, but whereas fuzzy there is no notches at all. Okay, even under variable condition also fuzzy is tracking red color. Fuzzy is tracking far better than P&O and chemical conductance. This is what we have seen. So what we have done, P&O and FLC methods were investigated. The performance we have seen. We found that fuzzy is giving the better performance. Now we will see how to design that fuzzy logic. So why it is required, what is the importance. So we need to see. I'll show you that. So this is not yet completed. Actually, it will take so much time. 10% only done. So if you want to design the fuzzy logic controller, okay, so you need to type fuzzy in the 1 minute. I'll show you. 1 second. So, okay. So how to design a fuzzy logic controller? So we will see the what is an AA. Tomorrow I will explain you. So how to design a fuzzy logic controller, but just inputs I will give you. So the fuzzy logic controller is a part of an AA. As you know that it is a part of artificial intelligence. So with the science and engineering, what knowledge you are having with the help of science and engineering, we are making an intelligent machines. What it mean, what is meant by intelligence? The AI machines whatever you have designed, artificial intelligence machines has the ability to learn. It will learn and understand and deal with the new situations. Try to understand. It has the ability to learn. When I design a AI system, it may be fuzzy control based, it may be neural network based, okay, or machine learning, or maybe deep learning, whatever it may be. So if you design any AI based system, it learns first. We will give the training to the system. So what it will do, it will understand, it will deal with new situations. Okay, whenever you give the command, so it will try with the situations. Okay, that means it has the ability to reason, ability to solve the problems, ability to act rationally, able to act like humans. Okay, so now if I give any big data to you, one model is given to you. So what happens? So we will give the training. Output is different applications we are working. So there is a model is there, particular model. One data is given to you. So based on the selection of data and selection of values, so different applications, same model can be used. Okay, it may be voltage controlled, current controlled, maybe okay, phase angle variations based on your different applications. Okay, so suppose one data is given, output model is there, output is generated. If any error is generated, that means output value compared with the desired target, if error is there, then feedback will be given, this weight will be adjusted. Okay, so the idea behind soft computing is to model cognitive behavior of a human mind. Okay, so it deals with inexact solutions. Okay, like hard computing, what you want in the hard computing, so exact data has to be given. You consider kpk values, the pa controller you take. Okay, So you need to fix Kp, Ki values. The fixed values will be considered. So it will work for only linear systems. When the dynamic changes are happened, if you fail to change Kp and Ka values, so it will become useless. So but whereas in the fuzzy logic, just now I have shown you results, that's why. So whereas in the fuzzy logic, it is automatically adaptive in nature. Our neural network also adaptive in nature. So soft computing is tolerant of imprecision, even uncertainty, partial truth, and approximated value. So the soft computing is called as approximate reasoning. It is called, it is approximate reasoning. Okay. So now, when we consider hard computing, you need the precisely related data is required, and it deals with the binary logic. That means it deals with only zeros and ones. The program has to be written. Okay, two-value network. Exact input data you should know. Then output value it gives the precise answers. Whereas in the soft computing, it works with the tolerance of imprecision, uncertainty, partial truth, approximation. So here we are having fuzzy logic, neural networks, probabilistic reasoning. Okay, and here it is a multi-valued network. Suppose if I say is some X is honest, few members will say he's extremely. Your CR is there. Is CR honest? Few members will say CR is extremely honest. Sometimes they will say CR is extremely dishonest. Sometimes people will say honest. Sometimes is very honest. People will say that means you will have 0 to 1. Whereas here is 0 or 1. In the hard computing, you will have yes or no. But here, you will say like how best the system is. Okay, in the percentage ranges we will give. And here it is parallel computation. Now you see what is the precision. See in the precision, what we will say exactly if 1500 kg mass is falling at this much uh, speed. But whereas in the fuzzy, we will say, look, something is falling. So this is what. In the fuzzy, this is the approximate reasoning we will speak. So here, the constituents of soft computing are the fuzzy logic, evolutionary computations. It deals with GA, SWAM optimization, and we colony neural networks, and machine learning. Okay. So now fuzzy logic was proposed in the year of 1965. This is not required for you. Okay, when the classical sets, as I said, it is speed is slow or fast, 0 or 1 we will say. But in the fuzzy logic controller, we will say it is slowest, it is slow, it is fast, fastest. That means from 0 to 1 we will say. Okay. Now there are different variables are there. I'll explain you tomorrow. It will not sufficient. So now fuzzy logic no. So what will happen? Disjunction and the conjunction is there. I will show you what is their slides. Then after that, I will take one power quality issue and I will apply that fuzzy logic controllers in the tomorrow session. What is there in the session I will show you. Okay. Now we are having first whenever the data is given, fuzzification has to be done, defuzzification, rule basis will be there, inference system will be there. Okay, so then based on that one, if then rules will be used here. Then so how to decide the if then rules? So how to decide the if then rules? So I have shown you know there are different types of membership functions are there. It may be triangular, trapezoidal, Gaussian, different type of membership. I will explain you tomorrow. Don't worry. Now we have considered no. So their rules 7 by 7, 49 rules you have considered. If uh, three are there, if only zero, positive, and negative. Three inputs. Error is three, and change in error acceleration also. There are three are there. Then how the 3 by 3 rule? 9 rules how it will be. If there are 5 input variables. So 5 by 5 system, how 25 rules will be created. Then if it is 7 by 7 system, how the rule base has to be created. Okay, it is when consideration of uh, the vehicle control by considering change in speed and acceleration. Suppose one more rule base is change in speed and rate of change in speed. Two different types. See here, one rule I have considered is error in speed, acceleration increasing. Acceleration may be very high, very low. So based on the acceleration, based on the error, how the rule base has to be created. So one is of change in speed, Second one input is acceleration. By based on that one, vehicle control how can be done. Suppose I want to maintain. Suppose I have considered 150 kilometers cc bike per hour cc bike. Okay, Pulsar 150 cc. Suppose this is I want to maintain 75 kilometers per hour. So this is my 75 kilometers. Okay, this is zero speed. This is 150 kilometers. Now this one is 100 kilometers. This is 125, 50, 25. So what I have considered, this is positive big, positive medium, positive small, zero, negative small, negative medium, negative big. So acceleration position where you are. So based on that one, how to control. Tomorrow I will explain you these things. Okay. So one is based on where the acceleration position. The error is there where the acceleration position. Second one is there is a change in speed is there. A rate of change in speed due to the wind favoring or maybe wind opposing. So rate of change of speed is changing. If two are related to the same parameter, earlier one is both are different attributes. One is speed, one is acceleration. When inputs are same attributes are taken. So how the rule base is designed. Okay. So 3 by 3, 5 by 5, 7 by 7, how the rule base can be designed. That one I will explain you tomorrow. There are inference systems, max product inference systems are there. How to select defuggification? Earlier we have selected center of area, isn't it? Why center of area? Why not others? Tomorrow we will see. Then after that, when you want to do it in fuzzy, there is a fuzzy inference system editor will be there, membership function editor, rule viewer, surface viewer will be there. So how to select each block? So these designs I will explain you tomorrow. So with the trapezoidal membership function, so first we have selected two inputs, one output, then type of defuggification, then after that addition of membership functions, then rule-based addition, then after that then selections. This is with triangular membership function. This is with Gaussian membership function. Okay, with the three different membership functions, hello, with the three membership functions, how to improve the performance, you can see different membership functions. Okay, so then we will see speed control. Any examples are there? So this is what. So what I will do. So to complete this, then after that I will take power quality issues and few two. One is related to shunt active filter. One is related to the correlate electronic model. So two or three models I will take along with this solar PV system. I will consider two or three related to one power electronic model, one power system model, like that I will consider one, either shunt active filter. So by applying fuzzy logic controller, so how the improvement is happening. So here I have not shown you PA controller. Tomorrow I will show you the PA controller and both fuzzy controller. So with PA how much it is changing, and fuzzy the block how to design, how to select the rule base. Okay, for 3 by 3 how it should be, for 5 by 5 how it should be. So modeling how it can be done. So those things, see, if I type fuzzy, block has come. Okay, edit, add variable to the, sorry, not out, add variable to the input. So now here what I have done earlier, so here I have done error. These modifications I will explain you tomorrow. Change in error. Okay. So in this error, suppose I'll remove all membership functions, edit, add membership functions, triangular, 7 membership functions. Okay, and I will change this value from -1 to 1. Okay, maybe -10 to +10. So middle one is treated as 0. Positive small, positive medium, positive big. The same way, negative small, a negative medium, and negative big. So how I have designed here? So same way. So here also edit, remove all membership functions, edit, add membership functions. Suppose I'm taking one more Gaussian. I'm showing just to show you. I'm taking Gaussian. Okay. See, 10 to 10. So again here I need to change 0 or positive small, positive medium, positive big. In the same way, output also has to be changed. Just for your understanding, I'm showing trapezoidal how it will be. I will show you. Okay. Mostly we will consider 3 should be same. We will consider tomorrow. I'll show you. Okay. So here also 0. So why I am changing these dates, these values 0, positive small, positive medium. See here if I go to design a rule base, if it error is negative big and change in error is what is MF1 I don't know no. But if I write here it is negative big, negative medium, negative small. So I can understand while designing the rules, error is negative big, change error is negative big. What is the output? It is of negative big. Add the rule. Negative big, negative medium. What is the output? Negative big, negative small. Add the rule. 0. Positive small. So like that. So 49 rules. If it is 7 by 7 system, we considered 49 rules has to be designed. If it is maybe 5 by 5 system, then 25 rules will come. If it's a 3 by 3 system, 9 rules will come. Okay. So first we will take 3 by 3 system, then I will show you. Then 5 by 5 system also designing I will show you. Then 7 by 7 at home you can do. Is it clear? So tomorrow I will explain you fuzzy logic controller. Then how to apply the fuzzy logic controller in one power electronics model and one power system model I will show you. Okay. If time permits, I will show you power quality issues also. Is it fine? So today mainly, okay. Is it fine here? So today mostly we have seen it's completed. 1 minute. Let me see the result. No, no, 20% only. It is tracking still. But you see the result. You see it is tracking exactly the fuzzy logic. No, it's taking some time, but it is tracking for perfectly. You observe this even. Okay. VPB. See VPB also at last on it has come. So when I consider a P and O, incremental conductance and fuzzy logic, so what is happened with the help of fuzzy logic, even tracking speed, tracking efficiency, both we are ensuring that. So efficiency is 99.99 we are getting, tracking speed also, so good. Okay. So that means during constant irradiance condition, during partial shading conditions, so our MPPT is working properly. Okay. Is it fine?